Alright, welcome back to the Supercoach NFL channel. In this video, we're going to review round 23 of the 2025 NRL Dream Team on Sportsdeck, as well as a bit of a quick team list Tuesday, albeit this being done on a Wednesday night. Just life gets in the way sometimes. But yeah, for Dream Team, it went alright. 1,018 this week. Which saw us move up 7 spots in the ranks, so into 56th. So top 50 is still a chance. So if we have a look at the team for this week, we had Connor Watson score us at 31. He did come off the bench. I don't know if that was just tactical or if that's going to be the way moving forward. Cam McInnes with 47, just solid. That's why we've got him in the team. Payne Haas was immense with an 85. Nafahu White with a 46 was really good. Terrell May was on the bye, but is back this week. Aaron Clark with 51, rock solid. Eli Katoa with 55 was good. Jacob Preston with 47 was pretty good in the wet. Hudson Young with 52 and Corey Horsburgh with 54, so some great returns from the Raiders. But as you can see, they're both on bye this week, so we need to find 2 replacements there. Nathan Cleary as our VC with the 62 was pretty good. Nico Hines with the 59 was good. And Jackson Purdue. So we only had a couple of bench options, himself, Stewart, and Hunt. And we definitely guessed right with his 61-point return as opposed to a 15 or a 7. Jacob Kiraz with a 39 and Ruben Garrick with a 30, which pretty sure would have dropped out. Yeah, so 31. So we didn't cop Garrick's 30, which was pretty good result in the end. Jaden Campbell is our captain. 59 was okay. Nwangani Tuase with 54 was solid, but James Tedesco was the star with the 111. Absolutely killed it. And Katoa in a well-beaten side, 46, is a pretty solid result. So in terms of the game day from last week, I actually wasn't a part of it. But there we go. We've got the scores. So in the the qualifying final, Shano getting the win with a 997 over Oliver's Hull White Star with a 985. So just having a look through, guess maybe the difference was a couple of 30s for Oliver, although kick out with the 32. So Munster with the 60 and Fanua Blake with the 62. So I think a couple of 60s doing the business there. 59 from Brayley was pretty close, to be fair. But yeah, not too much after that. And then the minor or the elimination final. So the Brisbane Broncos kick on with a 959. Shoab, unfortunately, done for the season, head to head anyway, with a 944. So Shoab had Payne Haas. So not too sure where it's gone wrong here. Looks like just too many 30s, like Dylan Edwards 36, 30, Ronaldo 36, Drinkwater 39. Whereas, Jacob Little, okay, 31, but after that, just 40s and 50s all the way through. So definitely a couple of close matchups, but yeah, interesting to see. So the matchups this week, we'll go to the league real quick. So myself against Shane, winner goes straight to the GF. Oliver and Nathan play, loser drops out, winner gets another chance. I might just have a quick look at the total points too, because I did make up a few points on Oliver, albeit I've got 200 to make up on him, but yeah, sitting about 30th still, so keep going, legend. Hopefully I can squeeze up into the top 50. Should probably actually just have a quick look at what it takes to get the 50th. Oops, I've gone a bit too fast. So 50th is currently 50 points ahead. So, that's a good captaincy pick away. But yeah, for my team this week, so we do have to find a couple of extra reserves. We've obviously got Trell May back, which is nice, but not too much after that. I mean, we could play Karapani against the Dolphins, although the Broncos are missing their two starting halves. I know Ben Hunt's a pretty handy fill in at halfback, but might be a little bit of disorganisation in their attack. So we do have one trade up our sleeve. So the question is, do we use it? And we've got a bit of money in the bank. So if we were to trade out Hughes, for example, we can slot Katoa back, and we can basically trade in anyone we want. So if we sort by average, so Dylan Lucas is still injured, so that's no good. Pat Carrigan is that solid, but not spectacular pick. Matty Nicholson's injured, but they're on the bye this week anyway, so it's no help. Kale Ero's injured. So you've got Brayley and Fanua Blake from the Sharks, both good options. I guess the one issue is the Sharks are on the bye next week, I think. And we've already got Hines, we've already got McKenna. So, sort of a similar issue as what we've trapped ourselves with the Raiders players, in that we've got too many players on the bye, injured, whatever. We can't cover it. Kalamatangi injured. So, Lindsay Smith, Max King, we don't really need another front rower. Latrell Mitchell's an interesting one, but Souths are another team that have an upcoming bye. So obviously we're not as impacted by South players, but I think we could probably try and find someone who can fill in the last few games. I guess Sam Walker's an interesting one, given how good the Roosters have looked since he's come back. That's an option. Dylan Edwards, coming off a 36 doesn't fill you with confidence. Cam Munster in the halves, especially with no Hughes. He's probably doing more of the general kicking, that sort of thing. But they do have Penrith this week, so I don't know if the upside is there. Um, and then they have the Bulldogs and the Roosters after, so pretty tough run for the Storm and the Broncos. So they obviously can score against any team, but it's not the greatest run home. So if we have a bit of a look based on some form, so Timico's on the bye this week. Latrell Mitchell, Harry Grant's been good. We could get Harry Grant. Obviously, we've got the flexibility to push one of these guys into the second row, that sort of thing. But again, we just looked at the Storm's draw. Is it the best? Tom Dearden's been, on a bit of a tear, but 31 last week. It's come back to earth a bit. So the player that I'm interested in is Adam Dewey. So playing in the halfback role, which means he'll probably get a lot of the general kicking in play, um, kicks goals as well, which is nice. And the dual position might come in handy as well. So I'm going with Adam Dewey as a bit of a point of difference. Yeah, only 8% owned. So, we'll take that. And then he's playing this week. So we can put in Katoa on the bench as well. And we've got ourselves a pretty decent A team. And then in the future weeks, as I said, next week I think it's the Sharks on bye. So McInnes and Hines will just swap with Young and Horsburgh. Maybe Isaiah Yo's back by then. I'm not too sure. Would be nice to sort of get Purdue out from the reserve slot. But after that, then we're pretty good. I think it's South round 26. We don't have any South players. And then the Cowboys round 27, and we don't. Oh, we have Purdue, so that sort of solves itself anyway. So, in terms of captains, vice captain this week, um, Penrith, Melbourne. I don't know if we look at Cleary. I'm thinking Tedesco against the Bulldogs potentially. Again, this is maybe just protecting against the Roosters getting a win over the Bulldogs. At least I can get something out of the fixture. um, but honestly, I wouldn't begrudge people looking at May and Haas as captaincy options. I'm going to go with Payne Haas against the Dolphins. Um, just think, with the injuries, Payne Haas has to stand up as a bit more of a leader of the team as well. The Dolphins, a lot of injuries with their forwards, so they may be vulnerable. Um, and yeah, so I guess we could keep May on the bench because he plays pretty late. McInnes plays just after the Roosters, so that's fine. And then the halves, Cleary, Hines plays pretty early, so yeah. So I think that's pretty well set. I guess you could do Adam Dewey here in the reserve slot, plays on Sunday. Yeah, so that's the dream team. I guess just quickly on team lists to have a bit of a quick look. Um, Ryan Pappenhausen out is a big one. So if you've got Nick Meaney, you're cheering. Warriors Dragons. I'm just going to skip to the main points. So Tanner Boyd comes back in with Tamari Martin concussion, and Kurt Catewell also missing with concussion. So I think the change is Halasima starts. Sounds about right. Um, and then, yeah, Moses Sully out, so Matt Fairnay slots in the centres for the Dragons. Roosters, Bulldogs, so not sure if there was any big news out of this. Siwa Wong missing with concussion, so Egan Butcher on the edge. Other than that, pretty much same 17s as last week. Titans, Sharks, Hiroti back for Ramian, and Billy Burns gets another run with Nikora out, and then a few outs for the Titans. So Tony Francis comes onto the wing if you're super desperate for a pod. Big Tino though back is the big news there. So uh, hopefully he can get the Titans off the bottom, the wooden spoon. For the Broncos, as mentioned, Ben Hunt at halfback, Billy Walters at 5'8", covering the halves. Karapani gets another go on the wing with Cobbo out. But I think the forward pack is pretty much the same as usual. And the Dolphins, doesn't look like there's any changes. Oh, Francis Molo out. Who's in for him? Maybe Kenny Bromwich. Yeah, Kenny Bromwich on the bench. Rabbitohs, Eels. So the Rabbitohs, Jai Gray at fullback, Latrell in the centres. I didn't see the game last week, so I don't know if that's how they did line up. Um, but Tails Duncan back on the edge is nice. If you sort of held him, could be a nice little point of difference for the last few weeks. And for the Eels, so Dylan Brown named in the centres this week. I think other than that, there's no real changes there. Oh no, Hubner, so Jai Arrow locks the scrum. Tigers, Seagulls. So Yeah, I think Adam Dewey in the 7. He was in the 13 before the bye, so I think he is the halfback for the rest of the season. Um, and for the Seagulls, Lehigh Hopewadi's back, but he's named on the wing. So Ruben Garrick moves into the centres. So it's been a good move in the past for Supercoach and the like. Tom Travojevic at fullback is pretty juicy as well. So Cowboys Knights. This is the last game, isn't it? Yeah. So Cowboys. Valame coming in on the wing. That looks different. No, it mustn't be because he's not on the ends. um, just says Cohen Hess out. So a forward in. McKaylee maybe. And for the Knights, I guess a pretty interesting one if you're looking for a cash out option, particularly in fantasy. Connor Vitano, the young fullback, there's some pretty big raps on him. So cool to see that he gets a start. Does mean Dan Gagai moves back to the centres and Fletcher Hunt drops out. So, um, yeah, I guess that's, for those of us that brought in Gagai last week, it's not the worst thing because he does go well in the centres. But fullback gave it that little bit of upside. Uh, and then the forwards, I don't see anything too interesting there. Tyson Frizzell comes back in at lock, but probably not fantasy super coach relevant. So probably went a little bit longer than I thought, but we'll wrap it up there. So as always, if you've got any questions, comments, thoughts, feel free to add them below this video. Give us a like if you enjoy the Supercoach content. Oh, sorry, the Dream Team content, all the Supercoach content, the Team List content, all of it. Give us a like. But subscribe for all that content that I was just talking about. And other than that, we'll catch you in the next one.